Hey, good morning. I said, welcome to your Friday morning with Shelley. I thought this might be a cool way to kind of kick off your Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Um, just a couple housekeeping. I do have a Zoom link and it is attached to the event. So if you want to join me on Zoom, you are more than welcome to do that, to have a conversation. Otherwise, I do have this streaming right now live into our group, and you're more than welcome to post a comment, interact down below. I would love to have some more Q&A with my peoples. So good morning. Kick off to a Friday morning. Love my coffee to start. So I got this idea from a friend who is also doing kind of starting off her mornings and doing this and being able to interact and talk with her group. And I was like, what a great way to be able to interact and kind of talk with your tribe a little bit. And, you know, this week I've been getting a lot of insight from my world. I've been working for the last year for a real estate network. And so I get to talk to a lot of real estate coaches. We had a coaches meeting yesterday, and there's just so much going on in the world right now and in the world of real estate. And I was like, you know, I have all these insights, and it would be really cool to share them and interact and do that with everyone. You know, when you think about it, and you think about a realtor and you think about the things that you do, you know, our worlds are kind of alike in a way. You know, we're looking at generating leads. We're looking at converting leads. We're looking at, you know, prospecting and filling our pipeline, nurturing those leads, staying connected with them, understanding our target audience, you know, and that's a lot of the marketing world. And so a lot of our worlds kind of collide. And so that's why I was just thinking, you know, this might be a little bit more of the realm that I'm familiar with. But then you've got realtors on the other side, and they have a whole other different world. And certainly there's a way that we can kind of come together, because we are facing a lot of shifts and changes right now in the market. And so what better way than to just kind of come together and talk about it, right? So if you have any questions or anything like that, you know, please post in the comment down below. We are streaming live. And I will also just check over here. If anyone has joined Zoom, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Anyways, let's get started. Just kind of dive into some things that we're seeing, right? So I guess one question is, a lot of realtors that are out there right now, you know, we're about 7 or 8 months into what we would call this real estate shift. And as one of the coaches that I work with that I love on the M&M network, his name is David Plummer, DP3, we call him. He's a phenomenal real estate coach. He's been in the industry almost 4 decades. So he is just a wealth of knowledge. And so that's what also kind of inspired me to kind of jump on here and just share some of the insights that he and I have been talking about this week. He thinks that 2023 could be a gold mine, which I think is pretty awesome. I wonder how many of you out there are thinking the same thing. He was talking a little bit about, you know, what does a shift look like? He's talking about, you know, the change in interest rates. Home prices are starting to creep down a little bit. Houses are going to sit a little longer. You know, there's not a lot of competition for buyers. Refinancing market is dead. Inflation is between 8.5 and 9. And then he also talked a little bit about, there's a big portion of agents out there that are stopping kind of lead generating and marketing for their own business, because now we're starting to get into the holidays, right? They kind of retreat, they retract, they're getting ready for the holidays coming up. We got Thanksgiving up next month, and hard to believe in just a few weeks, Christmas is around the corner. So we've got a big portion of these realtors that are like yourself that are dealing with a lot of these challenges. And we talk about like the market shifting. And so what does that mean for you? And how many of you have actually been in a down market before? And so I just want to share kind of like the insights that he and I were talking a little bit about. I work with him to do a lot of the social media marketing for this particular real estate network platform. I also help with his newsletter. So we talk a lot about the content, the kind of market that we're trying to reach out there. So we talked a little bit about lead generating this week, and we were talking about different systems. how are you doing this? What are you doing for lead generation systems? How are you using it? Are you maxing out any free systems that you have? Anything that basically automates your time is something that is important, right? We don't want to be wasting your time. And then the other thing we talked about was, do you have a plan for 2023? What does that look like? Are you starting to put some pieces in place right now? Because as we're heading into a holiday season, I mean, it's going to be 2023 before you know it. And some of the things that not only do I get from talking with some of the real estate coaches, but obviously being in marketing and in this industry, I reach out and look at other coaches and I say, what are some of the other things that they're talking about? Some coaches are feeling like, next year we're probably going to be seeing a lot less transactions in the future. Sellers probably aren't used to getting what they've used to in the past. They don't really like accepting a lower price because the market shifted, right? And so there's a lot of that going on. And now if a seller is going to sell, he wants or she wants a very serious, experienced realtor because they want to be able to get as much money as they possibly can for their home. So you have to start. So this is where kind of marketing and I feel like real estate kind of intermix, because it all comes down to like, who's the target market? So we have this shift in the market. And the realtors that are going to be successful, because there's a ton that are kind of leaving the industry right now. They see this downturn, and that's the other trend that we're kind of seeing. So for the ones that are willing to roll up their sleeves and kind of dive in and adapt to this market shift, we're looking at, who is that target market now that we have this shift. Some that I've heard talk about, some of the coaches that I follow are talking about the people going through divorce. Here you have a target audience. That's unfortunate that they're going through this experience. But now you have a court order that is basically saying this house needs to sell. So we're starting to look at like, okay, who is a possible target market that is going to spread out in this market that's shifting, right? And then what about for sale by owners? This market, here is a group of people that want to sell their house, trying to get probably the most that they can for it, don't want to spend money on a realtor. And so if there could be that opportunity for the agent to have that conversation with a FSBO and be able to convert them, the one thing that we do know is that in this market that they exist. And so, I think that's a thing that makes it so different for realtors to be successful and kind of move past this and being able to find and identify those target markets. Is this what you're finding? Put a comment down below in our live stream. And, this is kind of worth a conversation discussing about it. Then how do you use marketing? How do you use all these different platforms that we have out there to kind of work around it? So I heard this quote once, our CEO at More and More Network. His name is Saeed Ghaffari. He's an amazing mentor of mine. He talks a lot about, you do not rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your systems. And, that quote has always kind of resonated with me because everybody has to have a system in place, whether you're a realtor, you're in business. You have to be able to find a way to put some methodology and some plans in place, right? So that you have a system of follow-up, a system of being able to keep top of mind with your clients, because this market, we don't know when someone is coming in as a prospect, where they are in the process, when they're going to sell, where they're going to buy. And so always having a system that's going to keep top of mind is so important. And so a lot of the people that in my world on the real estate side, and I don't know if it's this way for you at all, but we talk about how do you scale the business, right? Because the more that you can scale the business, the more that you can maximize your time and focus on the things that you need to focus on, right? So that was another insight that kind of happened for me this week. And then the last couple of things that came up for me when I was talking with David Plummer was about the database, the importance of a database. He's actually having a workshop next week. And when I finish wrapping up with all you guys this morning, I'd be happy to post his free workshop on the M&M platform where he's talking about the database and the importance of a database and why you need it and how it can help you. These events are actually, they're free on M&M. You can go there. I'll put the link down here below. Let me just click on here. I just want to give you a little idea about some of the things that Coach Plummer is going to be talking about next week when he talks about the importance of a database, why you need it, top 10 databases for real estate. So he actually goes through some of these different platforms. I think is very helpful. He talks about also why the holidays can be the best time for you to purge your database. You know, this is your SIO, right? Your sphere of influence. This is your time to purge. Where are the people? Time to categorize. That's important. He talks about the 5 most important parts of your database and how you can add an extra 5 to 10 deals with your database. I think that would be interesting. I think a lot of realtors would like to know about that. And then setting up a marketing plan in your database, right? So basically, I mean, whatever it is that we can do to automate and make it easier for your time, that's kind of how I see marketing and real estate kind of coming together. So the other thing that I created this week, because I found a need in talking with some different realtors, is the ability to be able to have like a real estate listing page, one that you can customize, one that you can have specific call to actions, one that can be yours, and the ability to email capture in that. So some of the things that I talk about in our group have a lot to do with lead generation and email capture, because the database is so key in being able to stay top of mind with all of your prospects. And so whatever tools that you can use to be able to capture and augment and grow this database so that you can continually stay in touch, for me, I think is a huge advantage. And so you've probably seen me post in the group today or yesterday a link. I'm giving away a free real estate listing page and email capture page, and it's free. And the platform that I use, which is Aweber, is also free. Because my goal here with this group is that you guys are already spending a lot of time and money on so many different things. And so we have this platform that we need to maximize to the best of our ability. And so wherever I can help the realtors that I'm friends with and in this group and in our little tribe here, wherever I can help to be able to augment and grow your business in a way that's not going to cost you any more money, but maybe will allow you to do some tweaking and offer some automations that are going to make your business a little bit easier. It seems like maybe the holiday time might be a really great time to kind of look at that stuff. So anyways, just wanted to wrap up for our morning this morning. I really thank you guys for tuning in and listening. I thought this might be fun. Maybe we could do this once a week. And now that you kind of have a little bit better sense of what we're sharing, every week we do a coach's corner on the More and More Network. And so I get this opportunity to talk with the coaches and I get a little bit more about the pulse and things that are happening in the market. But of course, it's different, you know, across the entire United States. And so what is happening maybe in California is going to be different than in Florida. And then there are always going to be some similarities. So I thought with this group, it would be fun to be able to have some thoughts and feelings for where you guys are coming from in terms of what are the challenges that you're facing? What are some of the insights that you see? And then how do we marry these two worlds, right? How do we marry real estate and how do we marry marketing and how do we overcome these challenges together? So that is the whole purpose of the Let's Talk with Realtors Q&A. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really enjoyed it. I hope you have an awesome Friday and take care.